Hi, I'm Alexa, and I'm a user experience designer from Adaptive Path. But today I'm excited to be launching my own startup, Foodspotting, here at the Web 2.0 Expo. Foodspotting is a visual local guide that lets you find dishes instead of just restaurants. So I came up with this idea for Foodspotting when I first visited Japan and Korea a year ago. I discovered all these dishes I'd never heard of before, like okonomiyaki and tteokbokki. When I came back to San Francisco, I mined existing local guides in search of these dishes, only to find that they were too broad or too unstructured when it came to looking for a specific dish. So I set out to create a new local guide that harnesses what food lovers are already doing, like taking pictures of their food everywhere and showing off their expertise, to create a rich collection of foods and where to find them. Food spotters can report sightings of foods that they love, which enables food seekers to find whatever they're craving and to see what's good at a specific restaurant. Spotting a food is as easy as taking a picture and saying what it is and where you found it, like this chocolate chip cookie from Levain that I had the other day. Food spotters are rewarded for making quality contributions to food spotting. Whenever somebody wants or bookmarks or votes up the food that they spotted, they earn reputation points. The more reputation points they earn, the more foods they can vote up. So it's trying to build more credibility into the rating system. This enables food seekers to find the best of whatever dish they're craving. So you can look up the best burger in New York. It also enables you to look up a specific restaurant and see all of the foods that are good there. So it's like a picture menu for any restaurant. You can also have a picture menu for any neighborhood. If you look up East Village, for example, you can see pictures of all the foods that are nearby. And this is especially compelling on the iPhone app, which we're working on as well. So while we have several possible revenue streams, the one we're most excited about is this. Restaurants can pay to post special dishes and special offers, and we want to make that just as easy as spotting a food. Instead of just writing them on their Blackboard, where they'll only be seen by people who are already at the restaurant, they can post them to Foodspotting, where they'll be seen by nearby hungry food seekers who currently have no other way to get this kind of real-time restaurant food information from all the restaurants nearby. Foodspotting is not just for serious foodies. Anybody who uses the internet to make dining decisions will benefit from this visual way of browsing food. To make this happen, the first thing we need to do is engage food spotters. And to do this, we're adding a game-like dimension to the things that they're already doing. So it's kind of like the Foursquare for food. We also want to encourage them, and it's kind of inherently social, to share their sightings on Twitter and on Facebook. And if you look up food spotting, you'll see a lot of food sightings already from our alpha users. Doing this will attract food seekers who will see these sightings. And we're also developing partnerships with food bloggers and food magazines to create expert recommendations and to sponsor food scavenger hunts. Finally, we can attract restaurants by showing them that their dishes are on Foodspotting and encouraging them to post their specials and special offers. Unlike existing local and travel guides, Foodspotting is visual and it's focused. It's just about the food. This focus and simplicity is the one thing that's challenging for established food sites to replicate, because many of them are already doing so many things. Being user experience driven will also set Foodspotting apart. As a user experience designer for Adaptive Path, I've helped companies like MySpace and SmartFM reimagine their products from idea to implementation. And my co-founder, Ted Grubb, was the front-end engineer behind Get Satisfaction. We look forward to following in the footsteps of our colleagues and advisors like Peter Merholtz, Jeff Bean, and Lane Becker, who started UX-driven companies like Get Satisfaction, MeasureMap, and TypeKit. So we're excited to be opening up our alpha to the public kind of in a friends and family launch, or like a word-of-mouth launch at the Web 2.0 here today. So we want to launch our iPhone app before the end of the year, and we actually have a version of that that's ready to share with alpha testers. We plan to close our first round of funding early next year so that we can build the full version of the iPhone app and begin reaching out to restaurants. And in the second quarter next year, we hope to continue to hire and build our team. Until then, I'd love it if all of you could help us get started here in New York and sign up for our alpha at foodspotting.com/ilovefood. And feel free to share this link with your food-loving friends and family. And if you'd like to know more, please contact me at alexa@foodspotting.com, and I'd love to talk afterwards. Thank you.
Okay, first of all, your timing was perfect. You had like 6 seconds left. That was a great presentation.
All right, thank you.
I love food. I think most people, we need it to live, so that's pretty good. There are 2 challenges that I see I'd love your response to. One is, how many apps and services do you expect end users and consumers and citizens to use on a regular basis? You know, you say the Foursquare food, well, I use Foursquare, I use the Yelp app. I'm gonna need like a concentric circle of apps to manage my, cultural life. And how do you manage menu changes at restaurants? Keeping the database up to date is hard enough. When businesses change, their menus may change weekly. Right.
So to your first question, we're actually hoping to talk to companies like Foursquare about integrating with their services, and we're planning to build an open API for Foodspotting. So we hope to make it as integrated with the existing ecosystem of social sites as we can. It's already connected to Twitter. We're working on Facebook. And with sites like Foursquare, we'd love to be integrated and not competing with these existing sites, so that it could automatically post like these food sightings as tips on Foursquare. To your second question, we're hoping it'll all be powered by the crowd, but part of it will be just about getting that kind of latest information from a restaurant. So you can see we tag the photos with the date that it was taken as opposed to the date that you posted it. So you can see if that photo was relatively new or something older, if people are still spotting it or if it was only spotted once. And of course, we're going to have the standard flagging and saying this isn't here anymore. So there's kind of the latest and the best are 2 possible views.
How you can handle negative postings? Right? You can, like, restaurant A starts posting squash pictures of their hamburgers, but for restaurant B to try to take business away from them, how are you going to stop those wars?
Right,
Food wars!
Oh yeah, exactly.
That's awesome!
Food fight. We could have a food fight app where you vote for the best picture out of the 2, right?
The demo included very dynamic, very real time. So how are you going to do that?
Right. So we're hoping to bubble up the photos to the top that get the most attention. So the pictures that are viewed the most by users or that people like and vote up will be the ones that are surfaced. At the same time, because the reputation system anyway is based on having a limited number of ratings, so you can't just go in and like give ratings to all of your stuff. You have to actually be a food spotter and continue to earn points to post more ratings. And as far as the pictures, again, it's going to be crowdsourced. People can flag it as a bad photo or not a real photo of the thing. And we're hoping that food spotters who care about that restaurant will care enough to flag the photos that are inappropriate.
Is it only a positive site, or can negative
worst
pictures?
Food in New York.
Oh, this was a horrible meal.
Right. So while this has been something we've debated a lot, one of our core values is that people don't care about the foods you hate. They want to know what you love. So when you log into Foodspotting, you're not going to see the foods that people hate.
Yeah.
You're gonna see the ones
I don't know. There's a lot of haters in New York.
So it's kind of like a dig model. So we could throw in a berry down the road. But right now, we're hoping that people will promote the foods that they love, and those will rise to the top.
Yeah, like a rotten tomato. And then I had one quick, so I was curious, part of it, leveraging what Bertundi was saying is, we have so many different apps, we only have so much time. I'd be curious as to what elements of gameplay you're going to incorporate to make this more engaging and differentiated from some of the other types of apps that are currently on our iPhones and Blackberries.
So this is really optimized for people who want to collect and show off their expertise in the food space. So you can become the champion of a certain dish, in a very Foursquare-like way. But you can be the one who's tried more hamburgers than anybody, or you can be the person who's tried more okonomiyaki than anybody. If you're something, you want to show off something more niche. So there's we're appealing to that desire to collect things and to show off your expertise in food. We're also planning to have food scavenger hunts where magazines like the New York Times or 7x7 in San Francisco can sponsor a list of foods, and the people who've finished the most of that list will, be rewarded by that food partner.
I think it's great, and I think that I would only use it if it was integrated with other services that I currently use. So I wish you the best in getting into those services, because I totally see it and buy into it. But to Baratunde's point, how much more can I pay attention to on a daily basis? I'm very interested in the interactions that you're going to have with restaurants, and if this is the core of your business model, no matter how well you do on the user side, if you don't get this part right, you could be like another startup and find another way of making money. But I would hope that you could do it this way. So it's part question, which is how do you plan on addressing it, and then part advice, which is to look at startups like menu pages and other sort of very data restaurant-oriented services that have spent a lot of time, and I recommend that you spend a lot of time, really getting that process down. It's all about sort of process, because it could be that the best Vietnamese sandwich is at a place that doesn't even have a fax machine, let alone have an iPhone to post the Vietnamese sandwich.
Right, so
Just real quick.
I realize we're out of time, and I'll try to answer all your questions in person when I can. But I'm a user experience researcher and strategist by background, so we're actually planning to do a lot more research on our business model before we do it, and to go talk to restaurant owners and see what their challenges are and see how we could make this integrate with their real lives. At the same time, I think that what makes this uniquely valuable to restaurants is that it's easy. Because right now, to post or advertise on Yelp, you've got to call up their sales team. You've got to work out an advertising package that suits your restaurant. It costs a lot of money. We want to make this as easy as posting on Craigslist. Like, you pay a little fee, you post your special. And we're hoping that will actually fit better into restaurants' lives than kind of the more advertising-driven model.
Okay.
Food
Thank you very
Thank you
war.
so much, and I'd love to answer your questions afterwards.